Just, with this one, I just got a couple questions I gotta ask you guys because we've been doing this for a while, and we've been friends for even longer. But I don't think I've ever asked you these questions, so
Oh, we're
Sure,
getting
I just
deep.
sure.
gotta
Is this
All right.
make
like some kind of friendship test or something?
it's something like that. It's something like that. Just gotta make
Do
sure.
you feel I need to prove my loyalty to you
Just
for
gotta
all
make.
these years?
Yeah, so yeah, I gotta make
It's
sure that
been
you guys aren't.
12 years.
That you guys are all well and not plotting other things. So,
What?
uh, can you
Okay.
do you think you guys get very irritated and angry by minor issues? You know,
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know this answer. Do
Get
you
it?
think
Get
you
it?
get? Oh yeah, a little defensive there.
There's your answer.
So
No.
very
No, I don't think so.
often, sometimes.
No,
You don't
little
think
scope
not at
doesn't bother me
all?
because I've been
It
through some big
it
stuff.
depends what the little thing is. I think there are a lot of little things I can overlook that don't bother
On-
me that much.
It only
But
bothers me when there's a ton at once. Like if it's it
yes,
rains it pours situation, that
right.
gets to me. They pile up
Mm.
Oh yeah. Well,
individually. Nah.
like clutter will bother me, like in the house. Not like all the time, but if I'm already dealing with
Maybe.
something and I need to find something, clutter will make me really mad. It's a small thing, but that can really irritate me. But it depends on the kind of day you're having, and it depends on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Context.
not
Context
always.
is
Then
key.
it's like really rare that you get.
I'm not usually quick to anger. Yeah, I would
Okay.
say that.
Right. Right. Good answer.
So
Good
it can
answer.
happen very rarely if you're in a bad mood, pretty much.
Yes, yes. If I'm
I
already irritable or if it's
Hmm.
something that's particularly a pet peeve, then yeah.
I hear
We
that.
agree there.
I get that. Okay, the things you guys like to do to have fun. I know that we're all artists and we like to create,
Hmm.
but that's it's kind of fun, kind of business building. So what do you do to get? Do you ever do crazy things to get a thrill? Like do you ever skydive? Hunt
Yeah.
badgers to get a
I've
thrill?
been hunting, but you don't get. I guess you kind of get a thrill out of it, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like if you need to like kill a neighborhood cat,
Yeah.
just to feel something,
You
you just
ever
like
do
find
Yeah.
a stray animal and,
do it
like
up?
kill it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Add it to your collection. Nothing.
Taxidermy is also a very profitable skill.
I'll say I've helped conservationists by protecting our wildlife by removing the population of certain invasive species in the past, but I have not done that for a very long time.
No, I really do not do anything. I've never been a thrill seeker. I'm probably overly cautious for someone my age. Even as a teen, I was a little more cautious than some people. Like I never drove too crazy or anything like that.
He drove 5 miles. He drove 10 to 5 miles under the speed limit.
Oh, no, no, no. I always went the speed limit.
Just kidding.
Some of
Just
our
kidding.
friends did
Well,
not were
some of
not
our
the best
friends
drivers.
Oh my
would
god.
would let road
But
rage get the best of them.
yeah,
I'd say
yeah,
I do more now that I master driving and know what's bad driving, more so than
right.
being a teenager. Like I didn't really have
Teenage
too
years.
much
Yeah.
road rage then, but now that's
I get
like,
that.
yeah,
Well, yeah. That ties into the previous question. We're just not angry people.
yeah. So you guys don't really do things to get a thrill, really. No crazy things. I mean,
No, not
not really.
particularly.
Okay, just
No.
don't. Yeah, all right.
I I know what I want out of life, and that particular thing isn't very thrilling.
Same. Yeah, I like comfort.
So you feel like your life is to the fullest. You don't need danger and adrenaline, or do you need danger and adrenaline to live your life to the fullest? You think, or
Okay, that's a
Well,
different sort of
yeah,
worded question. I will say that yes, occasionally I will have to do go on some sort of adventure, sort of out of my
yeah.
comfort zone type of thing. I think that's important.
I think there's a certain amount of yeah physical excitement that I think is good for a person.
Yeah.
Like you do have to get your adrenaline up sometimes. That's just life. Things happen. It can be yeah it's something scary like almost getting in an accident, or it could just be like I don't know. You see someone get hurt, you got to help them. You got to spring into action sometimes, and
Springing into action, fight or
yeah,
flight.
and yeah, yeah, exactly. So, that's just part of life. And I do think, yeah, it is important to go out of your comfort zone sometimes and challenge yourself. Even something as simple as exercise. Yeah.
So you would partly agree, I guess. That,
Yeah, no, I think to some degree, yeah.
yeah, partly agree that danger and adrenaline makes you feel alive a little bit. I get that.
Yes,
Do you?
yes. Or challenging yourself, at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when you do these dangerous things, maybe they might not be so, beneficial for everybody around you, and you might get caught. And if you do get caught and it's something wrong, do you ever
Mm.
regret getting caught doing something wrong? Do you ever feel bad about it?
What do you know about me? What have you found out?
I shame pretty easily. I
Okay.
probably care what people think. Here's the thing, I like being liked by people, so knowing here's the thing, I feel like if I've done something to hurt or upset someone, I'm very quick to regret it. But if it's somebody who's just trying to be a little like, well, I think you should have done this, like if someone's just like up in your business and you didn't really like hurt anybody or put anyone in, harm's way or anything like that, then there's a sense of like, I don't know, mind your own business.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So maybe
One thing
more
I think,
often than always that you regret.
Well, if I did anything reckless that, again, like hurt somebody or made them frightened or in any way, then yeah, I would regret that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you?
well, one thing I'll have to say is that everybody's got their moral compass. I'm gonna need you to repeat the question, but
Like-
following my personal moral compass is the way I take things now.
Right. So like, do
'Cause
you
I think
do,
I have
do
a
you
decent-
regret when you do something wrong?
Oh, so okay, so that's the prompt there to you have a sense of guilt.
Yeah, like do you regret doing it? Like even if it's something you
Is
may
this-
not have thought was wrong, but like the person said you did it.
Yeah, okay.
Do you regret that?
Sure, to a degree. Yeah, of course context is key, but if it's something I clearly messed up at, then I will feel guilty about it. Yeah, I don't like to see anybody else hurt.
Okay, all right.
I think I can think of an example like, so actually with you, Josh, I remember like senior year, because we had study hall together. I remember this was like towards the end of the year. Like this is like when you don't really care about anything, getting in trouble or anything. I remember you and I one day in study hall, we said we were both going to the bathroom, and I think, or no, we were like running something to the office or something, and we just decided to just walk around
Yeah.
school for most of study hall because we were like, we don't have anything to
I was gonna
do
say,
that
yeah.
day. Yeah, we had like no homework or anything to work on. This is close to the end of the year. So we're just like walking around talking, and we decided to like swing by one of the guidance counselor's office,
I remember
Mrs.
that.
Benson, or Miss Benson. I don't think she was married yet, but we just went by her office, and she was like, like the young guidance counselor, so she was like the cool, like nice one. So we just went by her office and like talked to her a little bit, and I can't remember, did Coach C come find us or something,
Yeah, something
or
like
did we
yeah.
just
But
leave?
it's been gone too long.
Well, I don't think. I felt like we just like. I think we might have let it slip. Like, where are you guys supposed to be now? Type of thing. She asked, and we're like, oh yeah, we're at study hall, but we. And I think it was something like that. And then she's like, well, don't you think you should head back?
It was something, and here's the thing. I remember you and I are walking back, and there was no real punishment. Like Coach, she was just like, "You guys don't leave study hall now without." I think it was like we didn't even have a pass. Like I think you
Yeah.
guys just like left, like acted like we had to. And to be honest, like I remember you and I, we definitely didn't feel bad because
Nah.
it wasn't like it was something wrong, but it wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it
Like,
wasn't
we just
wrong for
we
real.
just bent the rules. Yeah, to walk around and be teenagers. Now I will admit, being the age I am now, I would probably be a little more considerate of Miss Benson's time.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. So just
Like-
barging in and
Right, like I would probably just be a little more considerate and polite, but it's not something I look back on like, oh my gosh, oh, what was I thinking? Like it's just one of those like
Sure.
little things of like, oh, I don't know, you're a senior in high school, and sometimes you F around during the day.
yeah. I mean, like I think like
We
they
had fun.
picked us because we weren't the kids they'd expect to do that, which was even funnier to
No.
that. It was just like we're seniors. Like it doesn't
Well,
matter, and
yeah.
like you said, we had all of our homework done. It's not like we're bad kids. That
That's the thing. You and I, like, we weren't really disruptive. There are definitely times at school, like, yeah, we'd sneak around the rules, or yeah, we did stuff that was normal, like to get by things. But we weren't like those kids who would disrupt the class or give the teacher a really hard time. I never even liked that back then.
No,
I
obnoxious.
mean, a little bit is funny, but I don't like actually like making the teacher angry,
yeah,
getting
no.
adversarial. That's not,
I
yeah,
deal with enough.
exactly.
So like, it sounds like you guys do have some like remorse and some consideration now, which is
Well,
good to
yeah, yeah.
know.
Hmm.
It's good to know. So, do you
Yeah.
think your
Yeah.
behavior is driven by impulse sometimes, or?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm an artist, I feel. Yeah.
Come on, man. You got, gotta explore our passions.
So you think that's like an often thing, or always, or like sometimes?
I think as you
I
get
don't know,
older,
man.
you're I think as you're older again, your judgment is better.
Yeah.
You are
Can't
going to be more
cancel us for
hesitant.
something we did in the past.
So sometimes
I'm
maybe
getting
you're
nervous.
driven
I'm
by
getting nervous.
impulse. Like you look at that one game that you probably shouldn't buy, but you say, "F it, I get my check in 5 days anyway."
Right.
So
Right.
I hear that. Okay.
Yeah, or like, I want this little treat. Like, maybe you want to eat
Yeah.
something, that like may bother you later. Like that's kind of the level of impulse like you
Yeah.
get at like when you're older. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little enjoyment where you can get it.
So
Yeah, and
now,
sometimes it's okay. Yeah.
so now, do you think you rely on your gut when you make these decisions? Maybe not your impulses, but do you rely on that gut feelings?
Sometimes my gut inflicts with what's morally acceptable.
Yeah, I hear you. I
I
hear
get it.
that.
And so I usually try and take the moral route because I don't like being wrong. Like I said before, I do feel guilty if I do something wrong, and I typically know that you'll get less of a negative response if you go the moral routine. So I lean that if my gut conflicts.
Sometimes your gut initial
Okay.
reaction is like well, sometimes your gut initial reaction is like your id.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if like somebody is being mildly annoying, you might want to be like again, like maybe quick to anger, but your rational self is like, no, no, don't. Like, why would you, snap at this person? They didn't do anything really.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember there was this kid who was just like and singing, playing the Baby Shark toy over and over again, and my id said to take
Hmm.
that toy and shove it down his little underdeveloped throat. But then my rationale kicked in.
well, and I'm not even someone with like a lot of like violent like impulses, and I know obviously we're
This guy though.
joking, but like,
No,
yeah, I
I don't
would
think any of us.
say the gut decisions, though, I would say like there are definitely times where you want to trust your gut. Like, I don't think this situation feels safe, or even just a vibe about a person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, you
Mm.
guys have had that. Like, maybe somebody
Oh
approaches you
yeah.
on the street, and your gut kind of knows already if someone's going to be trouble or if they're a little sketchy.
Yeah,
Body language,
yeah.
picking up subtle
Yeah.
cues.
Or again, though, sometimes it's just like an animal instinct. Like, you just know, like,
Mm.
I don't think this person's got the best intentions, or something like that. Or if you've ever been at a party or occasion where maybe the mood changed, and you're like, I don't think I want to hang around.
Yeah.
I, when I feel that too, I sort of resist it because like if it's like the example they're talking about, a party I want to leave, I'm like, well, I want to stick around in case it gets fun again. But at the same time, you're like,
Right,
but if it does get bad, I'm stuck.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
So okay, so
The,
do you
the
think you're?
cops show up.
Yeah, right. So do you think you're capable of doing anything you want, or like you doing anything to
No,
get what you want?
No.
no, no,
Well,
not at
I
all.
mean, I guess obviously you don't want to put
Leading to
limits.
something.
If you want to achieve something, obviously, you don't want to put limits on yourself. But like I said, like you don't want to be an ends justify the means type person who's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like I'm not gonna get a face tat just
like
because
a
I want
little
to be a rapper.
maniacal. Well, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
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 So you say
Doesn't.
you're capable of doing anything to get what you want, but you know you're not gonna do anything to get what you want. Like you have the
Well, I don't
ability
know.
to. Oh,
I
I hear
mean,
you.
I don't think I could like obviously I can't imagine a scenario where I would have to like, sometimes like you watch these shows and in your head you're like, oh gosh, like a survival situation, you'd be like, oh well, you got to shoot that guy.
Yeah.
You just got to. But it's easy when you're detached from it, but then like if you really think about if you're in that situation, you're like, could I do that though? Could I just like shoot somebody? And you really don't know sometimes what you're capable of unless you're in that like situation,
Yeah, I've always looked at stuff where like the person has to break their own body or cut their own limb
Yeah.
off to
Yeah.
survive. I'm like, yeah, I'll just die because I'm not gonna do that.
Hmm.
I'm not,
Exactly. Yeah,
no,
it's like a will to survive. Yeah, it's like, what are you capable of doing?
What
I'll
are you
just
willing to
starve, I guess,
compromise?
because I'm not gonna
Hmm.
gnaw my own limb off with like a
Yeah, or like
spoon.
eat another person. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Mm. Yeah, what was that story about those pioneers that got stuck in the snowy mountains?
The Donner Party.
Donner
Yeah.
Party.
Didn't they
You know,
eat one of
actually,
them?
They ate each other and to survive.
yeah, and they actually, I think they
It's bad.
boarded here in our town on the
They're
train.
here in town. The people eaters are here.
Every Saturday. Every Saturday. Okay, so do you think
Saturday
like
they come
since
riding in?
since you do know
Yeah.
what you want, are you
Mhm.
thinking about your like? Are you thinking about your plans for the future all the
Jesus.
time, or very
This week
very
has been killing
often,
me.
or never? Sometimes, like how
Thoughts
often do you
with
think about
intrusive
the
thoughts.
future?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, a lot. I think because
Constantly.
you're young.
Yeah, I
I,
feel that.
I definitely, I think we all feel anxiety about the future. I think it's a normal thing, especially at our age, and especially given the state of the world. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes it's simple. Like,
An
sometimes I'm
expensive
just
summer.
thinking, yeah, well, and I
yeah,
think sometimes ahead, just like, gosh, what am I like? What are things going to be like 2 months from now? Like, how much work am I going to have done? What will I be having to deal with? And then I think about like big things sometimes. Sometimes I think like, is the United States going to be around like our whole
yeah,
lifetime?
yeah.
I had a dream like that last night where
Mm.
yeah, there was some sort of like rebellion and I was like held up in my house, but it didn't look like my house. It's one of those things. And I woke up,
Yeah.
I'm like, could that happen? You know? So,
We could
well,
be
that's what I mean.
invaded. That's,
But right,
it's
but
not.
as far as like my own plans, yeah, I mean, I definitely like to have a vision for the future. Sometimes I've had to learn that you can't, because there's so many things you can't control, that your future may not exactly be what you envisioned, but it can still be really good. So I think in some ways, it's almost better to focus on like, okay, what do I want to feel like
Right.
rather than all the specifics? Because you're like, I don't know necessarily where I may live, but do I want to live somewhere that feels walkable? Do I want to live somewhere with good weather? Do I want to have this kind of home? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like a general sense and sort of an open-mindedness of what may come your way.
Right.
I think that's pretty common.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess I'm just
I
basic.
think it's something everybody.
I'm
I
just
forget,
basic.
I think that's pretty common. Well, all right, look at me.
So, like, does that make you think
You're
you're
not so special.
prone to fighting with people that are around you,
Fella.
or
No, I'm a pretty much a go along to get along type.
yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, even with my family, like, yeah, at home here, we'll have like little spats every now and then, but I generally get along people. I don't even, yeah, I only punched a kid once when I was 10. Yeah.
And then you
No,
quit
I'll throw down.
cold
I'll throw down
turkey.
with the motherfucker if I gotta throw down with the motherfucker.
Oh, so like, if rarely, then you think like if it like 'cause
Not even rarely. Just don't test me,
just okay.
and
So
I
like,
won't come for that neck. All right.
sometimes or very often. So like, you're like always on. You're always ready to
No,
get
no,
it,
no.
or
No, yeah, I'm
Very,
pretty
very rarely.
conflict averse,
very
almost to a
rarely
Really,
fault.
you really gotta betray me for me
Yeah,
to
to
want to
actually
fight you.
yeah,
pursue.
I hear that.
Other than that, it's just defending myself.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that's different. Yeah.
I get that. Okay, so like, if any, but so basically, my follow up question, kind of, you guys kind of answer that. So if anyone provokes you, you fight back. Like every
have to
time.
be-
If it's physical,
I have
you
to be
got
pushed to my limits.
You got to fight back or run. I mean,
Sure.
it's fight or
So
flight.
If it's
Yeah,
somebody
when
just
someone's
shoving you or something, I'll take that. I don't care.
I do think it's
That
important
doesn't
to
hurt.
stick up for yourself, though. If you're just being like verbally, well, that's why I hit
Right.
the kid one time. He was laying into me. I was new in the neighborhood, and
I'll raise my
uh,
voice.
I mean, I didn't like get up on top of him and pound him. I just yanked him
He
out
did.
of
I
it.
saw it. No, he didn't.
He's dead.
He's Get back
No,
up.
no, like I hit him in the mouth, like briefly. It wasn't like I like
Just
got
a
on top of
brief
him,
That's
kind
right.
of wailing
with the
on him.
mouth.
That's right. Sock him in the mouth if he acts up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Your mom and all that. And there's a certain line. Like
Oh
I think it
well.
is important to put. Again, you can do it without
Yeah.
violence, or you can do it without getting confrontational. But it is important to put up boundaries. So
I'm
I
a
cut
firm
anybody-
believer in bullying because I think a lot of the problem with a lot of these new kids coming up is they haven't been bullied and socked in the mouth. So
Actually, I'm glad
Yeah.
we're talking about this because I've been bullied recently, you guys. This is for real.
shut
Whoa.
up.
There's somebody who's been coming at my mom a lot. I see it
Really?
in chat, and he just won't relent. Talking about all this gross things about my mom and like how he wants to have sex with my mom and stuff.
it's inappropriate. It's
Yeah,
inappropriate.
I'm thinking maybe we could ban him in chat. Even his username's Chef Shoe. So
Yeah, I'll consider
if
because
you look out for that guy, if you see that guy.
he only seems to show up to
Sounds like a
spread
real
toxicity. So yeah.
He
Like,
seems to own it. Yeah.
So like
Bad
even
omen.
then though, like he
It's
provokes
pretty
you
sad.
and you're not fighting back. You're calmly requesting that he gets banned. So like, I guess that could be fighting back in a way though. But usually you're not that quarrelsome, but you're capable of fighting back.
I'm capable of it. If you're Chef Shoe, I'm pretty capable of
I
coming
feel
for that
that.
neck.
I feel that. Okay. Well, you got to defend yourself in this world because it's crazy, you
We
know.
do.
And
Crazy.
we all have responsibilities in this world. And do you think your responsibilities towards others determine your actions in life, or?
A little bit. I mean,
Sure.
I think Josh, you and I, being older siblings,
Yeah.
we grow up with like an innate sense of that, of
Yeah.
responsibility. There's always like that worry of like, oh my gosh, if I don't actually watch my younger sibling and then he gets hurt, that's my ass. So
Yeah. No, I feel
You know.
that for real.
yeah, no. Well, and obviously growing up too with a brother who had some special needs and health concerns. Yeah, big time. Yeah,
Oh,
responsibility. Yeah, so that's definitely a big factor with me. Yeah.
It's affected your actions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I believe that all of our experiences affect our actions. So, I mean, just personally. So that being said, that includes, our
Of the people around you.
our responsibility to the relationships in our lives.
So would you say
Yeah.
like always then, pretty much then, or often?
I think it's more so
Sure.
when you get older and mature.
Always.
You
I would say.
become more concerned with those around you, but still, yeah.
Yeah, maybe have they always know, but I think they always do, maybe even subconsciously.
Yeah, and subconsciously, sometimes people do you think some people might like, you get a vibe from someone that they might not support or want to interact with you 100%, maybe on the level that you do. Do you think that's
Sure.
Do you think that's them underestimating you because they're jealous of you, or they're just not that smart?
No.
No, I
Everybody's
mean,
different. They have their interests, and
Okay.
I could be incredibly boring to some. Some people have changed their minds about me. They used to think I was cool, and then they don't like the actions that I take. So I've had to learn that that happens in life.
yeah, all the women who don't reply to me on Tinder are low
See, there we
value, low intelligence, I think.
And
No,
jealous of
A
you.
couple of high value males here.
Yeah, a couple high status Sigma males here, like myself, don't need them. But no, but for real, I think that you definitely will meet some people who can barely hold a conversation, and sometimes you will wonder, like, is it just me, or are they just not easy to talk to? And some people really aren't.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do get a vibe from a person that like maybe it's not just you, but they are standoffish, or maybe just like not very nice. I think we've definitely like have met people before where there's a difference. I think, especially as you get older, where you can get a little more emotionally intelligent and tell like, okay, maybe I did something to put this person off, or maybe they're just tired, or not that interested in talking. And then I'm talking to someone and I'm like, you know what, this person might just be kind of a jackass, like, or they might just be kind of ignorant, or not take any interest in other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it just depends on the person and how you feel out that interaction.
Okay, so it's not necessarily them being jealous of you or they're being low brained. It's just it's just
Yeah, I
case
don't
by
think it's good to
case.
look down on people who are different than you, or don't share your interests. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good that you guys look outside of yourselves and don't blame others for the outcomes of how they interact with you. Like you could have that sense to be like it might not be for everybody, just as everybody's not for me. A lot of people
But
lack that these days.
well, and I think at the same time, though, conversely, there's also a sense of like, you know what, not everyone's just going to like you, and it's not necessarily anything wrong with you. Sometimes it is someone else's problem. If someone does put you down in ways that are unnecessary, then yeah, maybe that is more about them than it is you. But again, it depends on the interaction.
It depends on it. So you think with interactions, eventually, do you think like if you have the interaction that you can win over about anybody with your charm alone, or do you think that or
Seems
There are
like it these
people.
days.
Well, to bring it back to like, again, like say like a Tinder situation, I can usually tell pretty quickly. Well, one, I can tell like sometimes if you like look at a girl's profile, I might be like, yeah, this person's cute, but I can tell already we have nothing in common. I don't
yeah.
think I'm like what she's looking for, and I don't think we like will connect in that kind of way. We might get along fine if we met, but there wouldn't be chemistry. And then there's some you match with, and even after interacting with them for a little bit, you can start to tell like, maybe I can win this person over. Like maybe we have a camaraderie here. And then others, you're like, nah, this is like talking to a wall. It's a waste of energy. I mean,
Yeah.
it is sometimes,
Yeah.
and that's not
Yeah.
just with like, yeah, online dating or other things.
And it might not even be that they're boring or unlikable. It's just it
Sometimes the
doesn't
chemistry
interest
is
you.
not there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So you
Yeah.
can't win almost everybody with your charm, then.
No, no, of course not. No, no. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I do
Right.
pretty well, but yeah.
So you disagree with that notion. How about you?
I don't think you can, yeah,
So,
win everybody.
I have to agree. Like, as charming as I am, I can't win over everybody. So it's I think it's pretty much impossible.
I
Yeah,
hear
you
that. Yeah.
can't
Okay.
like everyone. Yeah.
So okay, so you wouldn't. Do you think like even though you might not convince those people with your charm, like, do you like to take the risk of trying to? Like, do you think life is not worth living when there is no risk or adventure involved?
Lately, it hasn't been a choice for me because I've been managing recently, like at work, and so the team of people I have a choice over. We hire who we hire, so I
Right.
kind of have to interact with them a lot and try and get them to like me somewhat, or at least
Yeah,
respect me.
get along. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, you got to try. I think if you don't make any effort to endear yourself to the people you interact with or work with or whatever, then yeah, you can come off as, sometimes those people come off as abrasive or aloof.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so life is not worth living when there's no risk or adventure involved. Then you pretty
I guess to some degree. I mean, I do think, to some degree you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
okay.
And yeah, even if that means like a risk of people, rejecting you, I mean, so what? The right people will.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
do you have like with the social? We're talking about a lot of social stuff and social structure right now.
Hmm.
Can,
Sure.
you do you think you can resist challenging the social rules that oppress my personality? Because we all know that if one law wasn't this way or one law wasn't that way, we might be a different person we express on a day to day basis. So it's like, do you think that with those like all those social rules in place, you'd still be the I mean social rules out of place, would you still be the same person?
Hard to
Very
say
hard to
because
say.
we're so shaped by the society we grew up in. But like, I guess let's say it's like the purge situation. Like you can do whatever you want,
Hmm.
for a night.
I'll do
One,
something.
but here's the thing, like with the purge and stuff. Like,
Drive
I
around
granted, I know
without my
there's
seatbelt
crazy
on.
people, but I like couldn't imagine like doing something violent.
No,
Like
no.
like I
Yeah,
said, like
no.
I've never had a desire to hurt anybody.
I drive around with the seatbelt off.
Yeah, like I don't know. I would do something that's like fun, but maybe again reckless. Not that I'm generally a
Yeah.
reckless person,
Right.
but yeah.
But
Or
if
and
it's a situation like that where it's a set time for it, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just drive extra carefully, but I won't put my seatbelt on
honestly,
because it's a
my
fun
thing would
day.
I'd probably want to trespass, like not into like people's like private
Hmm.
homes, but like I don't know, just like cool buildings like you can't normally like go into.
I want to
Right.
You know
take
what I
over the
mean?
Dana Thomas house.
Well,
I want to
which
take it over.
you
That's
can,
my
but
place.
yeah,
So
yeah, it was like that's
with
mine.
with the social rules that are in place, do you challenge the ones that might oppress you ever, or you just say, "All right, whatever, that's fine. I can
Hmm.
Do you have
just
an example?
like I don't know, like if a part of your personality was that you're more of a free spirit and like you
Yeah,
wanted to be like maybe partially nude or mostly nude, but obviously
right.
that's
Like
bad
those
and
types, nudists. Yeah.
even
Sure.
if you were in a place where that might be accepted, people look at you as like crazy or something, so you don't want to do that. But if so, like I'm saying, if that was your desire, would you
Well,
challenge it, or would you let
yeah.
that, or would you just
Like some
oppress
people
that
don't want to pay
to your
taxes.
grave?
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
Because I
And
do want to
yeah,
live
like
my
people want to
life.
own a whole bunch of guns, even though I mean, I guess now that's
Hmm.
socially acceptable. But one day it's not going to be the way this is going. So one day, if
Well,
you're a gun
yeah,
guy, that might be a part of your personality. Would you challenge
right.
the social norm of
Yeah.
having one or two guns and try to like have 70 million and just keep paying fines over and over again?
Well, it's like a show I watched recently about like there was these Mormon fundamentalists back in the 80s because they were like, "Hey, but we want polygamy. We want our own commune. We don't want to pay taxes. We want to live like it's 1890, you know?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, but like that's man's law. It's not God's law. So, we're gonna form our own like freaky little society like out in the mountains." And obviously, I mean, it becomes like a cult. It's not
Of
a good
course.
thing. So, that's like taken to its extreme. I couldn't see myself doing anything like that. But I do think, like everyone knows, yes, some laws just because it's legal doesn't mean it's just. Like I know there's laws against like giving homeless people food, and granted,
Yeah.
I understand the reasoning behind some of those things. So it's not like people can just poison them or something. But
Right.
yeah.
I hear that.
Uh, but you do hear like stuff like people like trying to do nice things and getting shut down for that, and that's one of those things I think people should stand up for people trying to do the right thing in spite of the law and stuff like that, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah,
sometimes, then sometimes like case by
yeah,
like what's
yeah.
going on with the Roe v. Wade, your personality. If everyone
Right,
should have rights to do whatever they want, that's a part of
right.
who you are. So yeah, I see that. What about you,
Well, and
Tim?
I agree. With a lot of this stuff, it really is context matters, case by case basis
it
stuff.
does. I'm a
Yeah,
big believer in bodily autonomy,
It's
and I do think like yeah, I don't think like societal pressure and things like that, yeah, should make, even if, yeah, some things are gray areas. Yeah, yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
all right. So sometimes as well.
yeah, yeah, to sometimes.
So do you like think that the rules of the jungle govern the world and everyone deserves his fate?
No, no, I mean, because that's just,
Mm,
I mean, that's
that's
pure social
barbaric.
Darwinism, and yeah, exactly, because, I mean, that's basically back to like caveman rules, if someone's bigger
Yeah.
and stronger, then,
Right.
is it their right to just, yeah,
No.
hit you over the head and take your stuff. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So strongly disagree with that. All right. I thought I had you guys for a second. Um, so
No,
would you
you got
define
a lot of
yourself
that.
as an honest person then? Like always trying to
Yes.
tell the truth, and is it a
Mostly.
cornerstone of your personality, or you're just generally honest?
Well, I think, you want to be your authentic self, but I think anyone who is too honest obviously can be blunt, and just being a grown up in the world means sometimes not sharing all of yourself with everybody because, you just
Selective
can't. Yeah,
honesty.
exactly. Yeah,
So like
it's a
partly
selective
honest,
honesty.
flexible. You gotta be flexible though, like with your honesty.
Yeah, like
I hear,
honesty with
yeah.
like tact. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. And do you find it hard to control your temper at all, or
Nah.
nah?
Well,
Almost
I
Okay.
guess it
never.
depends what I'm playing.
Yeah, okay. So
But even
without
then, I'm
video
not one.
games though, like if someone kind of
Maybe a
said
few
something,
broken
like
controls.
you're a very popular artist on the internet, and someone said like, "Well, I didn't
Sure.
really like that last chapter," not knowing that you spent like a week and a half on it, staying up at night
Sure.
coloring it, and does that not take you off a little bit, or you just brush that off and just get a
Oh,
smoothie?
yeah. I mean, here's the thing.
How about a smoothie?
Thankfully, I don't get a lot of negative comments for the most part.
That's good.
But when you do, yeah, nobody likes them, But you do get used to things. Oh, sorry, I'll have to get going soon.
No,
So,
you're good. You're good. That was last.
uh,
This is the last question.
oh, okay, good, good.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, you do have to get a bit of a thick skin, and luckily, I'm not one who naturally is quick to anger anyway. It definitely doesn't feel good, yeah, to get a rude comment, but taking a step back and remembering, like, okay, this is one idiot, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, I hear
you
that.
have no idea who it came from. Yeah, it's easy to brush off eventually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, same thing with you, Tim, or
pretty much. I mean, yeah,
okay,
stuff like
Yeah.
that doesn't bother me.
okay.
I mean, in the moment, sometimes a thing can get to us, and if we snap back, it can happen. We're human. But
For me,
generally, I like to think I try to rise above it.
Okay, well,
it's always temporary if it does sting.
Yeah.
What's this now?
Oh, boy.
okay. So I'm sharing your guys' results for the
Oh,
psychopath test.
Jesus. Jesus. Is this
Good.
clinically proven?
Now, on the left side here is Tim's score, and this is Dom's.
Oh God.
So
Oh
on the
God.
left, score of 7. Your score indicates you have no psychopathic
7.
personality traits. If you feel that you have problems, however, you might have a cluster B dramatic personality disorder. So that's something that you can look into.
Oh, fuck you.
And then for Dom's results, your score of 25. Your score indicates that you might have psychopathic personality traits and need
All
to
right.
seek help from a mental health professional to discuss further. Discuss further your condition.
Shit.
Um,
Whoa.
What did
we
you
can.
Whoa. Whoa.
So you guys aren't the only ones I found out today. 9,000 people have done this test today. So welcome to being one of the 9,000 people. And
Well, remember what we said about artists. So,
Oh, thank God.
okay, so this
I
was
get a
Koala
pass then.
Gang's special episode. I thought I'd do a little uh, covert interview on them like this, Find out they're psychopaths, and now I'm glad that I'm in the clear. This
Knew
is
it
from
was up to something.
SciMed.info. I don't know if
what
this
did you
is
score, Josh?
clinically I didn't take it. I'm probably
Oh,
way
Take
off
it
the
with like a
charts.
couple of grains of salt.
I probably should take this actually, and then post my results like post
Yeah, what the
editing.
hell?
No, it was just really something that I wanted to do to you guys, and that's probably why I'm a psychopath for sure. So
We know the results already.
this was Koala Gang. Really special episode, really fun episode here. Take the test. The test will be in the link in the description. If you wanted to find out what your psychopath rating is, I'm josh.ua.
I'm beyond all knowledge.
I'm Dom Salini.
And this was
That's it.
Checking They Brains.
PG coming at you live.
All right.